Back to the channel, guys, and I thought I'm doing some cam timing today, so let's show everybody how you set up cam timing. It's on a VVTi engine, this one, so the inlet cam I don't have to worry about. However, the exhaust cam I do. So I thought let's bring you along for the ride and I'll show you how to set up the cam timing. It's fairly easy once you get your head around it, but actually grasping the concept can take some time. So this is the 1J that we're building for the Chaser, and it has got some Kelford 229Ds in it, quite a high lift cam, but we need to find the center line of the camshaft in relation to the engine rotation. Now any cam card or any cams you buy should come with a cam card, and I'll show you the cam card and show you what it should be set to. So this is the cam card. It's got all the details for the camshafts, and the number that we want is this one here. As you can see, look, suggested center lines, and it shows you exhaust. It shows you inlet is variable, but the exhaust is 120 degrees. So what that means is we need to make sure that the center line of the exhaust cam is 120 degrees on the engine rotation. Now, because we've machined the block, machined the head, all that happens if you shorten that distance, all the pulleys get retarded slightly. What we now need to do is make sure we put the center line back in the right position. But being a lobe, you can't tell where the center line is because it's not on a peak. You've obviously got the lobe rolls over, but you can't measure exactly where the peak is, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Here is my very dodgy drawing of a cam lobe, and we want to find exactly the peak of the cam. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be setting up the DTI gauge. I've already set the DTI gauge up, and I've found TDC, and I've put our pulley on TDC. I'll also show you that. But what we're going to do is we're going to rotate the camshaft, and let's say the bucket is sitting here, like that. That is our bucket and our valve. This is upside down, by the way, so it's just going to make it even a little bit more harder. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be measuring the rotation of the engine here and the rotation of the engine here on the DTI gauge, and then we're going to divide these two figures and it will give us our value of our peak of the cam lobe. Anyway, let's get to it and save my drawing for another day. The thing to do is make sure you set up TDC. Once this is done, you cannot move the degree wheel. It has to say exactly where it is. If you move the degree wheel, it screws everything up. So just be careful when you're doing your pointer and your degree wheel. I'll get to it now and show you what I've done to set up TDC. So this is our dial gauge indicator, and I've got some welding rod down onto number 1 piston. I've rotated the engine over until I've zeroed the DTI gauge. I've then made a pointer on the front of the engine showing 0 on the TDC mark. So this is now all set. This is our degree wheel. It's huge. It's a really good thing to use a large degree wheel. It makes it slightly more accurate. We could use a digital angle finder to do this, but I'm old school. I like the degree wheel. So now we've got this TDC mark and we know where it is, and we've set all TDC up. Now we can start going on to full lift and take some measurements. Now I've changed the DTI gauge setup. So what I've done now is I've moved the DTI gauge to the valve bucket. So I'm now measuring when the bucket goes up and down, and I'll show you that quickly now. So the DTI gauge now has the welding rod and it goes all the way down and it's just touching the bucket there. So now I can read when the bucket's at maximum lift and when it's going round again. So I've set it at the moment, so it's like 0.2 mil at the moment. If I rotate the engine, I can roughly get it to 0. Right, so that's 0. That's where I think maximum lift is. However, I can still rotate the engine and it will still stay on 0. So at the moment we're on 112 degrees on here. Ignore the larger lines, use the inner lines. So 100, 110, 111, 112. I'll go up here and I'll carry on moving the engine over, and it still hasn't moved. It's just started to move there. I'll go a little bit more. Right, there you go, it moved then. So I'll go back, and there you go, it just moved. So now we're on 103.5 is what I'm seeing. 103.5 to 104. As you can see there, because of the lobe shape, we can't accurately get the center line of the camshaft. So that's quite a big swing in degrees. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how to set up the DTI gauge and what measurements to take and what figures to do. So let's get to it. So I'm rotating the engine counterclockwise, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it up until it's 5 before the 0. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before 0. And let's take this measurement. 118.5. So there you go, that's our first measurement, 118.5 degrees. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate the engine clockwise, go to 0, and then watch the DTI gauge go back to 5 again, okay? We're back to 5 again. Now we have 100 equals 218.5. Divide that by 2, gives you 109.25. I've advanced the cam pulley, the exhaust cam pulley. I've redone the measurements and I'll show you again. So I've advanced it on the Powerhouse Racing pulley by about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 degrees on the cam pulley. And I'll do my first measurement. Here we go. Here we've got 5 before the 0, and we've got 130 degrees. There we go, there's 130 degrees. And we'll go back round to 5. There we go. And we've got 112 degrees. So we're really close. We just need to back it off ever so slightly, and we'll have bang on the center line. Now I'll show you, it doesn't matter where you take the reading from on the DTI gauge. We can go 10 before 0 or 8 before 0. It doesn't matter, because you're taking the average, and that is finding the center line on the lobe. I said here with my dodgy drawing again, we're taking a reading before it's 0, so we're taking a reading here, and then we're going all the way past it, and then the valve's going to start to drop again, and we're taking a reading here. So this would be our 130, and then we rotate it around. This will be our 120, our 112, and then 130 plus 112 equals 242 divided by 2 gives us our center line of 121 degrees. So let's say we've done the DTI gauge and we measured it from 10 before and 10 after. It doesn't make any difference. So you would just have a slightly different set of numbers, you would add them together, divide them by 2, and it will still give you the center line of the lobe. And that is what we want. So we've done it. We've done our 120 degree center line. The figures were 129 degrees, and that was 5 before 0, then 111 degrees from 0 back to 5 again. So 129 plus 111 is 240, divided by 2, 120 degrees. So our exhaust cam center line now is set to 120 degrees before top dead center. Aced it. That should theoretically give us the most power out of this engine. If you're liking any of the videos, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We're doing absolutely awesome here. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.